And welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Gemma and it is time to unbox our Upcrate and see if we can do a little bit of arting with the prompt, which of course is an Upcrate battle. This is the only art subscription box from Germany. Still a relatively new box at this stage, not even a year old yet. So always quite interested to see what's inside and how consistent the supplies are going to be. So as per, we've got our envelope of Bumf, which talks a little bit about our supplies, and there's usually postcards and things in here as well, so I'll leave that until the end. We usually have a featured artist, that's all the supplies, and some sort of surface to draw on, so let's have a look and see what's in here. Oh, this looks exciting. This is nice. So the featured artist, or the co-captain for this Upcrate, is Snow's Art. If we turn over the back there, it's a 26-year-old artist from Germany. So she has written a little paragraph about herself. I'm trying to figure out what this is. It does look like paint. It looks like some sort of watercolour paint, maybe either that or like water-soluble inks or something to that effect. But this is really pretty and I like this kind of thing, you know, this sort of silhouette type work. That makes me quite happy. Ooh. Windsor and Newton Cotman watercolors. I'm very familiar with these. This is a colour chart, so I'm assuming that that's what's come in the box. Upcrate have been including sort of advertisements for the products that they have, and there's also a little card here that talks about the brush, which is an Upcrate Mystery Edition Series 192 Sharp Watercolour Brush. The paper looks pretty good and there are two different sides. This looks as if it's been oh no, it might not be hand pressed. Really thick paper and there's 3 sheets of that, so I'm super interested to find out about that. Oh, and it's tubes of watercolour as well, how nice! So the paintbrush in question is this Lineo, or Lineo, I think it's Lineo, synthetic paintbrush. It is a number 8, it's a number 8 round, so a little bit bigger than what would be standard fare in these boxes, and this makes me happy because I quite enjoy a number 8, and I like that this is a longer handled one as well. I'm just starting to build up my collection of long handled paintbrushes. And we have several tubes of Cotman watercolour paint here. Oh hey, I'm just chucking them about. What a nice selection of colours. I'm going to have, oh yay, okay. Intense green, or phthalo green, turquoise, emerald, and there's a big tube of emerald, a really big tube of emerald, purple lake, permanent rose, and cobalt blue hue. So a nice selection of complementary colours there. I am quite excited about this. Obviously we've got a lot of emerald, which is nice. And ooh, what is this? What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, okay. It's a brush wetterer. So soak the sponge, can dab your brush on it, away you go, I'm assuming. Maybe it's just you can use the sponge. Yeah, that's probably how we've got this sort of idea, so that's cool. And not to be outdone, we do have a pencil, a Factus Graphite HB. These are really sturdy pencils, the Factus pencils. I quite like them because they feel kind of like So we should have a postcard to match our featured artist, and I love what they do with the logos. Like, this is like one of my favourite parts. We've also got our Upcrate battle, which we'll look at in just a moment. We'll be getting into that just shortly. We usually have a sticker as well. There we go. So there's the logo sticker to match the postcard, and we have another sticker as well. Officially art supplies addicted. Yes, yes, we know. Oh, we know. Trust me, we know. So this is Upcrate number 11 for July, so nearly a year. Okay, the watercolour tubes. Cotman watercolour is made according to Winsor Newton's high quality standards. Characteristics of this series: mostly transparent organic pigments. 40 light fast colours. Now the light fastness does vary. If you're interested in checking these out versus the professional range, I do have a video on that. I compared the two sets of watercolours side by side. I will link that in the end card for you. It's a bit more in depth. For best results, use Cotman watercolour paint in combination with Winsor Newton watercolour paper. So I'm wondering if that's what this is or whether we're getting different paper, but we'll find out in due course. Co-captain tip: you need to paint at least 2 layers with them to make them look vibrant and saturated. Yes, these are generally transparent and wishy-washy, dreamy, romantic watercolor type watercolors. So if you want some really bright colours, you do have to spend the time to layer them up. And if you have good paper, then that is not a problem at all. Right, so let's see what it says about the paintbrush then. Okay, the paintbrush is entirely handmade, so not a wee bit handmade, entirely handmade. Visible hair length of 22mm, allows a wide range of applications. Although the brush tends to be slightly more suitable for fluid colours, it is a pleasure to paint with all kinds of colour. The brush handle is made of European birch, threefold black lacquer that is environmentally friendly. Okay, I think this is quite a robust paintbrush by what we're looking at. Right, the paper, SMLT Authentic watercolour paper. Quite rough cellulose based watercolour paper with a grammage of 280 GSM, suitable for all watercolour techniques. Acid and wood free. Okay, I'm really interested to try this paper out. It's available on Amazon as well. The Factus pencil, it's an HB pencil. I say this almost every video that I do an unboxing. And the wood comes from sustainable forests. Excellent, that's what we like to hear. Okay, Laufer sponge cans. Laufer, it's Laufer, it's pronounced Laufer. I know that because I've had this conversation. It's pronounced Laufer, and I know that, and I should know that because it's got an umlaut above the A. So my friends in Germany, I apologise. I will continue to pronounce that in the correct manner. Laufer sponge cans, a useful accessory for both young and professional artists. The Laufer sponge can be used in a variety of ways for spreading colour on pictures. So that was my previous hand movement of da 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 da, like this. Spreading colour in pictures, watercolour drawings, dabbing and dabbing away of colours, or cleaning brushes. That's what I would use it for. Fine poured, I would not say that that's a fine poured sponge, geez. Is that like fine poured to you? Listen, them some pretty big pores. Fine poured quality sponge is safely protected against leakage and contamination in the practical can with a screw cap. I would only have been happier if I got a green one, but I'll live. Okay, so let's have a look at this Upcrate prompt for the Upcrate battle, and we shall see what we have to do. I'm excited just because it's watercolour, and more to the point, these Winsor & Newton watercolours was the first full set of paints that I actually used with any regularity. I have never used them out the tube though. I've always had a set of pans, so that will be quite interesting for moi. So our Upcrate battle looks a little something like this. Oh, the prompt is magical fantasy. Well, there's lots that could be done with that. And this person here, the featured artist, she basically she or he, and she has basically done what I would do, and that is trees. So I'm gonna try and not do trees. Okay, I'm gonna go and grab my sketchbook and we'll maybe scribble out a few ideas, tidy up a little bit here, and we can get going on the Upcrate battle, Magical Fantasy. So just to help me with a bit of figuring out here, I've just brought my studio palette out. So this is the full set of Winsor & Newton Cotman colours, minus sap green because mine is finished, it's done. I do have a half pan of green paint drying, so that will go back in that slot. Anyway, I just wanted to use these just for quickness, because when I start to sketch out some ideas, I really hope that this water brush has actually got some water in it, that would be helpful. I just like to have like a little palette of the colours, and I'm not starting to mess about with tubes just now while I'm trying to work stuff out. So I really just want to get these, you know, an idea of these colours down so that I can start working on something that might resemble our prompt, which would be nice. So we've got this turquoisey colour. That's fairly nice. Incidentally, just while like in between filming bits of this video, I found out that I've become an aunt today. This Mr. Jem's sister has finally had her baby. We've been waiting a while for this baby, and it is a little girl, so I am super happy about that. Super excited. Right, so we've got Purple Lake as well, which, no, that's mauve, this one's Purple Lake. This happens a lot. So we've got, it's such a nice set of colours to have together as well. I'm really digging this colour selection. Look at that Purple Lake. That's actually one of my more regularly used colours, that Purple Lake. Okay, and then we've got our greens, and I love this emerald green, but I have to say I don't find an awful lot of use for it. It's definitely in a fantasy situation. You can see where it would have its uses, because it's very vivid, very vivid. And to be fair, the phthalo green's probably just as but we'll show you this one as well. Again, I don't really use these greens as much. I like them though, that's the thing, like I do like them. Now the emerald and the phthalo seem to me to be pretty close together. Could have given us two different colours. That would probably have been a nicer idea. So that was kind of a waste if you ask me, especially when you've got a massive tube of emerald like this. But we shall solder on. So this is what we've got to work with. So this is what we shall be working with, and that's just going to help me to get together some ideas about what's going on. Now, notwithstanding the ability to mix some of these colours, I kind of always take that as like a Brucey bonus, but straight away, these two colours here, and possibly a little bit of the purple as well, that's given me kind of like watery vibes. So I don't know whether that's going to be like a waterfall. We could have a waterfall type situation, or whether it's more of a stream. I know I'm thinking like turbulent water. I don't think a stream in a mountain situation is going to cut it. So maybe waterfall might be better, or waves in the sea. I have recently just painted an acrylic a sort of wavy, oceany, watery scene, so that's probably why that's coming into my head. But no, I think I'm going to stick with a waterfall idea. I like that better. So let's just say, right, let's just put our pretend waterfall in here, because we don't know whether it's actually going to be a waterfall or not yet. But the waterfall's here and there's lots of water sploshing up. Maybe there is a creature that lives in behind the waterfall. For those of you that play video games, you will know that if you ever see a waterfall in a video game, the first thing you do is you always check behind it, because there's usually something behind it. So maybe in this case, there is an animal that lives in behind it. I'm kind of getting Diddy Kong Racing vibes here. Yeah, so maybe there's something that lives in a cave behind the waterfall, or maybe it lives in the water, and it's going to mostly be green and purple and pink, or maybe it's just purple and pink. Or maybe it's a water dragon, maybe it's like a serpent kind of thing. So I'm thinking like snaky shaped. And maybe it's got tiny little feet at the back, like maybe it's like a funny gecko-y type creature. And then it's got a tail, like little T-Rex type arms at the front. Or maybe it doesn't have any legs, maybe it's just a watery beastie thing, and maybe it's got some fins instead. I'm imagining this would be like a cutesy kind of animal. I don't see it being a not so friendly creature. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that idea better. Where are these feet? Oh, okay. And maybe it's a gradient. Oh yes. Maybe it is a pink and purple animal. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm going with that idea, and he's going to be in this waterfall setting. Right, I am ready to rock. Okay, there's going to be a fair few layers, so I am just going to make a start. I'm trying to get some vibrant colour, and it's something after using the professional Windsor & Newton watercolours, I'm interested to see how much it's going to take with the Cotman colours. Yeah, so I just want to do a little bit of mixing here to see what's what. And I have to say, there's nothing spectacular happening. You know, I'm not getting particular shades that I think to myself, oh, that's just lovely, I love some of that. Get a pipette on the go here, and I'm just going to lift some of this emerald green and water it down a little bit. Ooh. Okay, so I want to do the sort of background area first, and I have to say that this paper seems quite nice, and the paint seems to be sitting on it for a reasonable length of time, so you seem to have quite a lot of working time, which is nice. And yeah, the brush seems fairly good for for finer details. Now I deliberately left that there to see how long I really do have to keep working this, and it seems to be, I mean, like that's joined on perfectly, so yeah, I think this paper's pretty good. I think I quite like the feel of it. So I'm just going to work my way down now. So basically, because you've got that nice working time, you've got lots and lots of opportunity to mess about with wet and wet techniques, and also if you're trying to blend colours, you know, you've got lots and lots of time to do it, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to use this really dark purple that I mixed. Yeah, so you can see that even though I'm working in a sort of finer section here, because this brush has got quite a nice point on it, I'm not struggling with areas of detail, which is really nice. And then when I get up to here, I can just spend a minute or two joining those together. That is starting to dry a little bit, but it's not bad. This is reasonably dry now, so just add another couple of layers. I'm going to leave like the main part of my mystical creature. I've decided I'm going to call it a Waterfall Serpent, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm just going to grab some more of this emerald, and then I'm just going to darken this up. So that's more or less neat paint that's on there. Okay, so I'm having no problem with vibrancy, but I'm using these more or less straight out the tube. Now the other thing I wanted to do here as well, hopefully, is grab this sponge, because, okay, we might be alright with that. I really didn't want the green going into that section, but that's okay. Okay, I've just got a bit of a smudge here, and the lifting abilities of the brush and the paper are pretty good, so that's something else too. That's a big factor for me, because I do make a lot of mistakes and I change my mind an awful lot, aside from the fact that I'm clumsy with my injured hand. So the lifting ability is usually quite important to me. And I want a slightly more concentrated version of this, maybe not that concentrated, right enough. And this is going to be my water underneath. And I'm just going to grab this sponge again. And I want to start really sort of dealing with that. Maybe dip a little bit in there. So that's given me kind of like a spray effect, but it's not too severe. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a bit of this turquoise now. I have to say, this is kind of fun with this sponge. Reminds me of being a child. I'm trying to get some sort of accuracy here, but I think I'm kind of pushing my luck, if I'm honest. So for the part of the waterfall, obviously this is the top plane and this is the side plane. So for these parts that are coming down, I want to try and use the cobalt blue, but I want to really load the brush up with water and try and get this in a really nice sort of gradient. I should be able to, like, the paper behaves really well as watercolour paper, I mean, so this should be relatively easy. Like a wash. Come on now, because I want to bring this a bit further down into this section here, and then I want to be able to take my sponge with the water on it. I'm hoping if I start in the middle especially, oh too much, that I can sort of blot out that line, and then using the thirsty brush technique, I'm hoping I'll be able to take little slices out of this part here, which is not really, I could do this with a much finer brush, it would probably work better. So this really speaks for the lifting abilities of the paint. I want to, oh no, these parts are dry. I want to put in some foliage, so again I'm going to use the sponge and I'm literally just dipping that in the neat emerald paint. There might be a wee bush sticking out here as well. And then I can take my brush and maybe, you know, pencil in a tree. Like, let's face it, this would not be a colour cave painting, and it certainly wouldn't be a gem painting unless there was a tree somewhere. Just very simple trees. Again, we don't want to take too much time over it because it's not really the point of the picture, but I really enjoy doing stuff like that, so okay. They're like palm trees. Putting a little bush at the bottom there, maybe some. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to do what I did before. So I've got the cobalt here. If I had quite a full area, I would pre-wet the paper. You know, I would just do it as an entire wash, but because I've got quite a lot going on with the little guy in the front and one thing and another, I don't want to take that risk. Just in case it ruins the entire piece. Or I put my hand in it, or, you know, something silly like that. I'm just erring on the side of caution. Like, logically, logistically, and technically, there's no reason for me not to pre-wet that entire area. But just because I'm filming this and I don't quite trust my hand, you know, it's easier for me to fix something. If I drop a paintbrush in a dry area where there's nothing going on, there's a chance that I'm going to be able to fix it. Whereas if that area is wet and I drop a brush in it, goodness knows what will happen. And it happened the other day when I was filming the last video for the succulent paintings for my little cloakroom toilet, and I dropped a paintbrush. Luckily there was nothing crazy going on there, and it landed on the pot, which was like a dark bluey grey colour, so that was okay. But it's, yeah, I'm quite aware of it, quite wary of it. I'm gonna kind of leave this section now till I've got the main body parts done. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got this sort of weird greyish colour that I mixed up. So that was a combination of the pink and the green and a little bit of the blue, and that's really dark. So again, just really wanted to get like base colour down here. And I do feel that this is really dark, so I'm just adding a lot more water to it. And I'm just going to smoosh it about. Right, there we go. So there's our base layer of that, and I just want to quick mix in a little bit of this green as well. So this is like, it's like a sort of, almost like a grassy ledge. Okay, I'm going to give him some features. I'll just darken this down under here a little bit. And maybe just a tiny hint of green. Or pink. Pink would be better. Oh, too much. Too much pink. Now I've got this section of his tail here. This is like at the end of his tail. Okay, this is killing me. I have to do this. I know I'm not finished the painting part, but I'm going to use my HB pencil to outline my serpent dude, and I just have to put his eye in because it is driving me absolutely crazy. Oh, that feels so much better. I feel so much better for him having an eye. Like, that's amazing. Okay, good. Okay, so realised camera wasn't actually on. I've just done this transition here for the body part. So that is just from the permanent rose into the purple lake. And I have used the neat colours for them, for this section. And it's just so that if I need to use more paint, then I don't have to try and mix, because I haven't quite decided what I'm doing in terms of like texture or that kind of thing. So I just wanted to get, the same way as I always do, I just wanted to get this base layer down and get that transition between the purple and the pink on the go, and I'm reasonably satisfied with it if I'm truthful. I'm kind of jotting about from section to section here, but I wanted to just add a little bit more into this rock as well and just kind of call that done. I just want to pop this tiny little bit of blue in here, because that's clearly in behind here. And I think I want to really water this down, and I just want to pop a lick of this in here. I can pop that there, and then I can quick go in with my damp sponge. Again, just trying to avoid that tail area as much as I can. Yeah, I just decided that this part here doesn't really need to make sense. It's almost as if this is like just a backdrop, it's just a background, and these aren't actually attached because it actually doesn't make sense. Because the water wouldn't be flowing down from underneath this ledge anyway. But I don't know, this could just be like a kind of like a floating ledge. Again, I'm thinking back to like sort of video game type stuff. Because I like that kind of thing. And one thing I want to do as well is I want to take this cobalt, just dab that off a little bit, and I just want to, oh, it's a bit much. Not brave enough for this. Oh, there we go, okay. Yep, I can live with that. So I just want to kind of dab some of that in there. So I've got my grey here, and now that I added in a little bit more to that stone, I just want to put like a shadow line, because obviously I want to sort of pin this character to the rock a bit more so they look like they're meant to be there. Okay, this was a complete waste of green paint. I'm really annoyed about that. My paint's kind of dried up. It is later. It is later, much later. So I think what I'm trying to get now is I want a really nice dark area under here. Try and tidy this up from earlier because that was a bit messy. Ooh. And then I just want to bring this. I'm just trying to make this look a little bit more interesting and a little less flat. That's really my only goal here. But I was kind of hoping I'd get some of that nice graduated colour that I had going on up here, just kind of like not in reverse, but you know what I mean. I'm not okay with the green situation here. I feel as if that there should be some more green in behind here. So I've got this massive blob of this emerald green that I'd squeezed out, which was clearly far too much. So I just want to see if I can add a little bit in here without making it look as if I've added it in. Yeah, I know what I mean. So this is like proper precision. Alright, that looks pretty good actually. Now the other thing I want to do here, make his tail look a little bit fancier. So I'm back to this really dark purple that I'd mixed up way back at the beginning. And I think I want to like, I'm just trying to bring this together a little bit. But I think I want to kind of like make this all one part, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just looking for a bit of cohesion, that's the word I was after. This is a testament to how good the tip on this brush is as well, because that's a fairly thin line I've put down there. I think I want to start adding in a little bit of something. I don't know what this something is, I just know it's there. That's not as disastrous as I thought it was going to be, but there is time, it's bleeding already, dagnammit. Right, okay, never mind, we can fix that, that's okay. Yeah, I just want to add in a little bit more here. Get this looking a bit more interesting in terms of our paint. Maybe even add in a bit more in here. I made a decision while I was waiting for this last part to dry, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. With a drawing like this, which isn't something, you know, like, I don't know, when it comes to like illustrative styles, I don't do things like this very often. I just realised I've smudged that. Dagnammit. I always want to outline like the main part of the picture with a fine liner, and a fine liner for once in our lives is something we don't have in this box. But I do have an HB pencil, and I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm quite nifty with a graphite pencil. So I figured I should maybe use that instead and actually put my pencil skills to some sort of use. I'm actually really happy with this, and this is a most enjoyable upcrate for me. Basically, I'm just outlining my little serpent creature here, which I am very happy to do with a pencil rather than a fine liner. But I've got a few details that I need to pop in here. I'm really not doing a huge amount here. I do need to fix this nostril. but I'll get to that in a moment. So you can see like this sort of belly plate part here. I've really made that stand out. And I'm just going to get a little bit of a, yeah, like I call it a snaky belly. It's obviously like a plated or scaly type area. Yeah, okay, I think I'm going to call it done at that. I'm actually really pleased with this in a weird kind of way, and this has been one of the most enjoyable upcrates I've ever had. So I'm just going to sign this, and oh, I've just left a pencil line there. God, I'm so sloppy. God. Okay, yeah. I'm just going to do this in pencil just because I can. Okay guys, that's it. I want to thank you very much for watching. I would love to hear your opinions and or your experiences with your update this month, and as always all the comments are welcome down below. If you've got this far, you've obviously enjoyed yourself, so consider giving the video a thumbs up. That would be real nice. It's basically like giving me a cuddle, and I like cuddles, so that would be good. Keep arting and stay safe, and I will see you back in the cave on Sunday for another video. Have a great day everyone. Bye for now.